actually getting elected the opportunity does actually be part of the decision-making power. Instead of just advocating to the council, actually gets to have a vote and actually push the issues a lot stronger. Because a lot of decisions that get made downtown actually negatively affect us because they don't take the scope of UTSC students into account. Now, when it comes to being a journalist, I've been working on strong unit dollars the last 8 months with the portfolio. I know the connections already. I know all the community groups. I know the politicians. I know how to move around situations to bring the UTSC board into the discourse of the politics and the decisions get made that affect our students.
So now we're going to walk through tonight.
You mentioned Abdallah a lot, Guled, as working with him, and what I know what worries me and some of the other students with this whole idea of slate is that you've already committed yourself to working with Abdallah and other members of the slate. So how would you address students' concerns that you may not be comfortable working with people that aren't from your slate?
Well, Abdallah is 20 president, but I think what should be concerned is, here's the thing. I think everyone who's running is dedicated to what the students really want. So if the students start to pick different people and not all the members of our slate, then we have to respect the students' voice and, I guess, I'll come to their willingness to work with the people no matter what. Because we're all here for the same thing, to work with you guys, to take your voice and your issues, to transport, to make your campus better. And it comes down to you guys at the end of the day.
Just giving one second, I just want to make the point that, I know you mentioned that Abdallah is the only candidate. I just want to point out that Abdallah, because he's the only candidate, is not the he's going to be elected. It's a yes or no vote. So,
thank you.
So I think that was an interesting point about, who's really going to fight for your voice at the end of the day, and, looking at issues that really are important to you. And this is something that I want to challenge each and every single one of you, whether you're candidate, observer, branch, family, whatever you are. Challenge every candidate to see what exactly they're going to be doing for you. Look at the voice that's definitely going to fight for you. Look at the team members and look at the voices that you want in that organization who are going to provide a tangible and realistic change towards a better UTSC, not only for you, but for future generations.
Okay, this question is for Guled. I'm asking a question. Oh, right. You're asking on behalf of. No. This question is for Guled. On the collective slating campaign poster under the heading of VP External, which is your running position. It states external communities and actors, such as private sector partners, are essential in providing context and opportunities for UTS students to utilize. What my question is how do you justify private sector partners when you, as a card-carrying member of the NDP, who supports public sector and public funding, how do you justify saying that you need private sector partners in providing context to students?
I just really interrupt here. If you could modify the question, just I think we have some information. We don't
Okay. How can you justify private sector being associated with private sector partners when public sector or when private sector partners are the result of, when public sector is the result of regulation? And usually when you have private sector partners, you get deregulated, and they are based on profit, while the government and public sector is based on the collective good, as opposed to profit of a private sector partner.
So here's the thing: if I get elected, I'm working for the students. So there's one sort of way I can get a collaboration which gives benefits to UTSC students. For instance, Dream Jobs was a program that was created last year under this sort of portfolio, which they brought professionals from private companies to work hard to give UTSC students the scope of what their field looks like and provide them with networking opportunities. This is something that benefits UTSC students. I don't think I should base my job based off ideology, but rather practical and tangible things that work for our students.
Yes, I think to comment on that, I think that with this portfolio, there's been a lot of focus on political aspects, and there's never been a balance to this role. With my platform, when you look at what I'm bringing to the table is a balance.
We're just trying to have a question.
Okay. So in terms of private sector, part of my platform is to be working and looking at different corporate sponsors.
Trying to draw into your platform.
Okay. So working with corporate, working with corporate sponsors, like again, could benefit UTSC in terms of bringing in extra revenue sources and revenue streams that can be used for scholarships, that can be used to provide substance for clubs, use it for maybe providing big events for SCSU and for all the students at UTSC. So I think private sector is something that should be looked at. However, it shouldn't be a main focus. Nor should be the idea of a political focus. It should be a balance between the private sector, the community, and the public sector of the government.
So one of the key messages that the state has been communicating is that both the VPHR and the VP Ops positions will be eliminated next year, and the VP Internal position will be created, and an executive director position will be created. So there will be no one to manage the HR function. And I've also been aware that the person doing HR for the 400 employees that we currently have will be split between several of the full-time staff. So my question is, how are you going to create more jobs and maintain the ones you currently have with no one to administer it?
I'm sorry, but that's not one of our points that we're campaigning about. And in fact, HR job applications online, I believe, right now. So if you're interested in applying for that job, they can actually go online and apply for it right now. Thank you, though.
So, I just want to confirm, you mentioned that, by the late,
Yes.
right?
So it's been communicated by Guled Arale actually on several occasions and by Adil. So it's just in different sources.
Right.
We're doing this.
In the case,
That should just keep an eye on that.
okay,
Like, that's one thing we wanted to do this year, but we didn't have the chance and don't have enough time to do it. But, so this is not something that we're advocating for, it's not our campaign.
Okay, so, yeah, what we're trying to do is remain with us around of official communications, but if there's a statement released or anything, we'll try to respond to that. So, anyone else?
Period.
Oh, you both mentioned, both of you mentioned a lot, voices to opinions. What tangible ways do you both have of getting the input?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. I think that accountability is a major issue with the SCSU, and I think that looking forward to being a director on the SCSU, I've seen how transparency has lacked. There's been no board minutes being posted up until recently last week. The board meeting dates aren't even set up on the board. There's no AGM documents on there. I think that these are transparent issues that fall responsibility not only of the SCSU team, but it also falls out from the chair and the vice chair. And I think that we need to move forward and we need to look together as a team. And if elected, I'll make sure that transparency is there. In terms of personally, I've already dedicated myself, and I'm containing this, that outside of my 40 hours of where I'll be getting paid as being paid from student dollars, I'm going to take time out of my own day out of 5 hours and a week, which I believe is reasonable and realistic, campaign, attempting to outreach and talk to students. And do what I've been doing since my campaign started, asking the questions that students want. What is your concern? What is your issue right now? What is your major issue, not only overall, but with this particular issue, for example, tuition fees? I promise that me and my team will be on the ground, mobilizing students, talking to students, getting a lot of students buzzing and talking about the issues going on to create a UTSC community, which my experience will prove that I've already done.
Yeah, so again, me and my team have honestly committed to 3 to 4 hours of outreach every single day. Because the only way to be accountable to students and the only way you can actually get students' opinion into the work you do is by talking to them. And by actually being face-to-face communications with them, with a lot of constant amount of, so 3 to 4 hours of outreach every single day. Also, like we said, we want to also do blogs. That way we actually have an online interfacing that we can actually show on a consistent basis and consistently update the work we're doing. That way with that and outreaching, that's how our plan is to actually talk to students, get their input, and be accountable to them.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you. And with that, this proposal as well, along with the debate, which,